So this is going to be a very common job for you guys. For a lot of guys on their own farm, you're going to have a tractor. Teddy, he's been fighting with that big rope for 20 minutes. I thought for sure it would have put him to sleep by now just by the energy exerted to move it. It's heavy. That knot that he's lifting up. There he whipped himself and hurt himself. It's a heavy, 6 feet of rope. You got 15 pounds there. That's a heavy rope. But poor little guy. So anyhow, this is going to be a very common repair for you guys. You're going to have a tractor that's pushing some water. You're going to lift the head off without tearing the tractor apart. There really ain't a whole lot to it other than just time. A hardware store die grinder and these roll locks work fantastic. The only tip and trick I have for you is come in flat. Don't sit here and go like this. One, you burn through the pads way too fast and they're too expensive to do that. So if you stay mostly flat and then keep moving. Don't sit here and buffer. If all this area is clean except this little corrosion spot, don't just sit here and, because then you're going to create potential leaks. And so move over the head, and even if you go slow, shorter areas, but just work across the head. Take your time, get it all nice and clean. It's up to you if you want to try and pack towels into every lifter hole and piston hole. Usually the amount of stuff that gets down in there is so little, it don't matter. I still recommend an oil change after this because the engine was opened and there is a potential of some contamination. But then when we get the deck all super clean, and then we're going to take some ether and you wipe that deck with ether and a rag and keep going till it's super clean. Then take the air hose, blow your cylinders out, run a tap up and down your bolt holes and blow them out, because some of them are going to fill up with water and oil from the head coming off. So if you wrap a paper towel around your blow straw, that works out good. And then you're ready to set the head on. The head, you already sent the head out to the machine shop for inspection, so it's not cracked. It's been decked, valves have been inspected and all that kind of stuff. So we know the head is good. So we just have to do a great job on the block. Then at the very last second, if you have a straight edge you can trust, you can put it across the block and use a feeler gauge and check it out. But yeah, so let's start getting this cleaned up and get ready to set that head on here. The air hose just poked through a cloth. Helps catch most of that goop so it don't come into your face kind of deal. So you're going to get messy before you get clean again. And go around and hit all them holes and all the bolt holes, and then we'll change them kind of deal. Hard to do one-handed, but you get the picture. All right, so there's phase one. Is a bulk of the deck is scrubbed off. We got tops of liners. We got that land of the liner as much as possible, that step down, and kind of give it a wipe off. And then you take the light and just go along, and you're just looking for any little speck that you might have missed. So then we'll touch up some spots and then take the light and then start cleaning it with ether. This was probably the toughest or worst, because a lot of the graphite of the head gasket stayed as a layer on the deck. So in that first instant you went over and you're like, man, that really cleaned up quick. But when you took the light and started shining, you're like, wait a minute. And then you could feel with your hand, you're like, oh, it still isn't down to steel yet. There's a difference in feel from the steel to that graphite. And we're not trying to get it polished. You don't want it to look like a mirror finish. you want to see swirl marks and lines from your scuff pad. That's the old schoolers' theory of it gives the gasket something to bite into. And yeah, so let's keep touching it up. Holes are blowed out, so let's keep touching it up. And well, this is the only time I recommend ether on an engine. There's block heaters and preheaters for a reason, but that's a whole different conversation. Now, the ether is kind of interesting because you can watch it at the end where the fluid runs away. You can see the oil and grime get there, but you got to wipe it fast because it freezes, so it's a two-handed job. But yeah, it is a great cleaner. Otherwise, hot water and dish soap and just scrub. You know, dunk your rag, get most of the water out, and just do a little scrub, dip, dump, you know, kind of deal, and keep going until your rag stays clean. So now that we got it clean, we have to start over and grind again and then clean again, because what do we see? One little spot. You see them right here, and right there's a little graphite still left on the block. I don't know how well that's showing up, but it's there. So we'll touch that spot, and I think the rest of it looks pretty darn nice. So there he's clean. He's right there. We don't come in and just go and clean that little spot up. You sweep, you know, from back here to here and do it. So there, I think we're looking really, really good. We're nice and clean. So I think we'll set that head gasket on there and see what we look like. All right, so just put a tap in the drill and do each hole. Not overly complicated. You can turn your clutch way down if you want. Otherwise, you're just feeling it. There you go. 24 left, and we'll get the gasket. So you flop your head gasket up there. You see that it hasn't been damaged in shipping, and you just check it out. Like the O-ring looks good up here, and we're supposed to see that hole. Now you don't see that hole. I'll be right back. All right, so here's the old head gasket. There's our dowel pin, there's our head bolt, there's our water hole. Problem is, on the new head gasket, the water hole's right here. So we got to double check part number and engine serial number to see where we can get the right head gasket. So then you take the gasket out of the package, and we just give it a quick inspection, and everything looks nice. It matches up the holes really nice. That looks good. That bends and wrinkles like this, you know, we'll just throw 5 or 10 extra pounds on the head bolts, and that'll take that right out. It just, for Pete's sake, somebody stepped on that box at some point. So gasket number 2 we will send back, and like they say, third time's a charm. All right, since it's the weekend and our day off, and the head gasket wasn't there for the 7320, brand new 4020 engine. We just sent this engine out early this spring, last fall, I don't even remember. And it's using oil, which is very uncommon for a John Deere. We can pick on John Deere engines, but the one thing is they can be as tired can be, and they still don't burn oil. I was mentally prepared to simply yank this head off and drop the pan, and number 5, you can see the cylinder, the exhaust port on number 5 is full of oil. Whoop, I don't know what's going on with my camera. It's full of oil and it's weeping all over the block. Well, now I'm kind of looking at it, and you see how the oil's sitting on this valve stem. And that valve looks really nice. Oil sitting on that valve stem. That valve stem looks really nice. No oil, very wet valve. No oil, no oil, lots of oil, lots of oil. I wonder if something didn't happen during the reconditioning of the head that would allow oil to be getting past them valve stems, the seals up here. I really question that. So before I pop the pan and knock a liner out and that whole ordeal, let's lift this head off and get the cart over here and see if we can't pop that valve out and see what's going on behind that spring. We got it off. I mean, everything looks just immaculate. It's brand new. So let's see if this old school valve compressor will fit this head. I don't know if it will or not. We'll figure it out. So I took the head up to the machine shop, and he said every single valve was leaking oil past the guide, but every single guide was within spec on their inspection tool, which makes it even more confusing. So he machined the head to accept an old Chrysler uses the same size diameter stem, so he machined the head to accept an old Chrysler valve guide seal. And so he sealed all the valve stems. He said had he not just done the head, he would say, well, we need to do a guide job type deal. But so it's a very weird scenario. So at this point, I'm gonna just clean the block up, throw that head back on and run it before I start swapping out cylinders under warranty. We'll clean her up and run it with the reconditioned improved head and see that it's stopped weeping out of this exhaust. That's gonna be our first big indicator, is out of this exhaust. And if that is nice and clean, then we'll work the tractor here, maybe grind a couple bales on the bale processor type deal, or pull the Massey down the road, but we'll work them hard and then send them back.